You guys have been asking. Today you're gonna find out how Watch Your Wrist started out as a side hustle and today is a full-blown business. Stay tuned. All right, so started out working at the age of 18 at Mountain Motorsports, which is a power sports company. They sell ATVs, side-by-sides, motorcycles, and used to meet a lot of cool people, and it was an awesome job. Spent about 7 years there, and a lot of the time was spent in the sales department and upper management. During my sales days, I met a really cool client that bought a lot of stuff from me, and he actually gifted me a watch. It was a Rolex Platinum Yachtmaster. This was the first time that I ever experienced something cool like that and super high end like that. So that's kind of where it all started. From there, we shot over to the Roswell locations where they sent me to be the business manager there. And from there, I had a little bit more control over growing that business. They had Ducati, which if you guys know motorcycles is a little bit higher end brand and a different clientele from some of the other brands. So I had this idea to take the MotoGP edition Tissot, since it's kind of motorcycle related, and give them that watch instead of doing huge discounts. I thought that they'd value that a little bit better. So we purchased 5 of them, but that didn't really work out as great as I thought. So I located a dealer that had the brand Tissot, and they were able to give me a little bit of a discount, which was the first time I got a discount on a watch because we purchased 5 of them with the company credit card. And we created some marketing around it and that kind of thing, but ultimately nobody really cared. So we had 5 watches that nobody really cared about. A couple months go by and I get a comment or two from the bosses like, hey, why do we have these watches on our books still? What's the plan with them? What are we doing with them? And so that's kind of the first time that I was like, all right, you know what, I'm gonna sell some of these. So just reached out to people that I knew, and I kept one for myself. I still have it for still to this day. And a couple of people bought them from them, so I sold the other 4 and made a couple $100 on 1 or 2 of them, and then I think I lost a couple $100 on the other ones just to get them going. But so that was kind of the first thing that happened with me selling watches. And what was funny was people started to circle back, and you know, with these Tissot editions, there was quite a few other limited editions. So, you know, they're like, hey, can you get the new limited edition? I said, well, let me just call this guy that just gave me the discount before and see if, you know, he's willing to do a discount again, and he was. And so what was kind of funny was off of these Tissots, the motorcycle people that I knew thought it was kind of cool because it came in a little helmet and that kind of thing. So I ended up selling a handful of them, so much so that I was actually going around with my little brother at the time. I don't know how old he was, maybe 10 or 12 years old, and he works for me full time now. But back then he was 10 or 12 years old, and we'd go around in the mall and look at these little like Macy's stores that had the brand that didn't know that they had something semi-cool, which was like the helmet with the watch in it. So we were picking them up from the malls and stuff like that and then going back and selling them. So it started out literally with $1,000 Tissots, and from there, basically every penny that I was making, I just started putting it into watches. So basically that was early on. I was probably 18 or 19 years old. I was kind of just flipping low key on the side for the first like 2 or 3 years, and then decided to open up a LLC and really get legit and really start selling watches. So I was putting every dollar that I made from my day job, which was pretty decent, into watches, and really just went all in and tried to grow that side of the business. And it really started getting some good traction on the wholesale side. So I was gaining a lot of contacts and selling a good bit of amount of watches. The first year, it's funny actually, before we did this video, I went back and looked. I think I sold 9 watches the first year. I lost money on half of them and made a little bit on the other half. And the second year, I think I sold under 20. I can't remember what it was. And about the same thing. I lost money on half, and I made money on half of them. And then the third year, I really started investing what I had into the business too, and reinvesting all the profits. And that's when it really took off. And I sold a couple hundred watches that year, and really started to learn some things and that kind of thing. So before I left, I was to a point where I was basically, when I was at work, I was starting to realize how much money I was losing by not being able to meet a client to sell a watch, or it also started affecting just being on my phone at work that amount of time and doing that amount of business. So I had my wife in the business, and she was picking up packages in the morning, unboxing them, sending me pictures of what we had for the day, sending out wires to suppliers, all while I was, buying the stuff, selling the stuff, sending labels, and then she would package it up and try and get it out to FedEx before I was off of work. But, that did create a lot of kind of that push and pull from my day job to, something was always a sacrifice. I didn't really feel like I could do my job all that well, and I couldn't feel like I could be as good of a watch dealer as I wanted to be. So the deciding point was very hard for me, because I had a lot of people around me that I really liked working with, and a really good team. And but there was days that I was in meetings for 6-8 hours as a general manager at the time. We were did a lot of meetings, stuff like that, and people would be texting me and trying to make offers and counter offers, and it wasn't fair for anybody for me to be on my phone the whole time. And there's plenty of times that I look up and I'm like, crap, I just lost that deal. And it was tough to make the decision to jump and go into it full time. And I ended up giving Mountain, where I was working at the time, like a 6-month notice, and we just kind of transitioned out of it. And I think it was February or March, jumped full time into the watch thing a couple of years back, and it was awesome. At first, it was really cool. It kind of felt like I was had all this freedom, felt like I was kind of like a little bit retired for a minute, because you kind of just go to bed when you want, wake up when you want. And I was real kind of lazy with it, and was like, well, I can just make the money I'm making now and not really have to work as hard. And then stuff kind of started piling on. That was actually the year that, when I quit, was like the highest COVID price was. That was when everything was peaking out, and I was selling platinum Daytonas for $250,000 and $50,000 stainless steel Daytona. That was when everything was at its highest. So I made the decision at that point to jump ship and to do it, and I did. That was also when my little brother and my brother-in-law was helping out. My brother-in-law was helping build websites, that kind of stuff. My little brother was actually in high school, 17 years old, I think, at the time, and maybe 18. And so he applied for work-based learning, so that he can, he did school until lunchtime and then would get out. It's actually kind of funny, because one of the qualifications for the work-based learning was to give paycheck stubs, and he was doing real well in class, and then he started giving paycheck stubs to prove that he was working at a legit place, and some of his checks were doing pretty decent, compared to probably what the school teachers were making. And then he said that some of the grades started going down a little bit, so I don't know if there's any animosity there. But yeah, so Noah would text me and be like, hey, sorry, class is starting, but I have this offer, blah, 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 and then he'd close it after class. So that was kind of funny to deal with. From there, he told me that he was going to come full-time with me in the summertime, right when he got out of school. Then my wife told me that she was pregnant with our first child right after I quit the job. Wife tells me that. Noah tells me that he's going full-time with me, which was exciting. And we were going off on a family vacation to Alaska. And I just remember during that trip on the way back, just the world was weighing on me. I'm like, holy crap, what did I do? Still working out of the house. I mean, we were doing 8 figures worth of business out of my house. That was part-time when I still had the job, and and then all this other pressure coming on. So that was it was a lot, and I kind of had to make a decision, all right, if I'm going to hire people and people are going to be relying on me to grow the business, obviously it's a team effort, but that's when I was like, okay, we're going to do this right. I'm going to get an office space so we can all have a home base. We can all check in every day. We can all be together and figure out how to grow this thing, grow our online presence, really get the website off the ground and going, make sure we're posting on everywhere, and start hiring people, salespeople, shipping and receiving people, photographers, everybody. So I mean, we really, with that pressure, really caused some good stuff, because I want to make sure that if people are taking that risk, with us, that we have a business that can actually sustain that. So that was what we did. And that kind of leads us to where we're at now. From where we started until now, we decided to go to the retail side. I was looking for retail stores for a couple of years. It was pretty hard to find somewhere that is in a high-end area like Roswell, like where we're going to be, but also where you can walk. I mean, there's only a handful of places that you want to be in this area that makes sense for somebody to walk in and that wants to do, higher end shopping. So I was very familiar with the Roswell area, the clientele, and who's around, and that's definitely where we wanted to be. So there was a new development that was under construction. That's kind of why it delayed, is we have to wait for this whole development to get done before we can do the inside build out. So, we got notification like 2 months ago, month and a half ago, that the exterior is done. We were able to apply for permits, and literally over the weekend we got the permits. So it's a very exciting time. This is another big jump that we're having to do in our business to try and make a name for ourselves. And it's been cool to see like the core clientele that we have, the people that are literally buying watches from us a couple times a month. I mean, that just goes a very long ways, and it's super cool for me to see that support, and just those repeat customers, those referrals. Even cooler to see the people that are working for me doing well in life and just trying to get ahead in life, and recently just talking about their internal goals and what they want to accomplish, and really truly feeling like we can do that in the new store and meeting new people. And that's the ultimate goal. I feel like I'm happy where I'm at in life. I've been very happy with where I'm at in life, and now it's just about like proving a point that we can do it. We can be the place in Atlanta to be the watch guys in Atlanta, and I feel like we're starting to have that name and that reputation, and we want to try our best to keep that going. And that's why I'm willing to take the risk, and with the team that I have, I feel more than confident in going all in on it. So that's what we're doing. I think it'll be really awesome to have a place for people to come, hang out, shop watches, try on everything, and just hang out with us, and for us all to grow, and also provide that service to the community. I think will be really cool. So I kind of just alluded to just how thankful I am to some of these people that have gone out of their way to really support us. And it really is a team effort, from my family and my wife, and the team that we've cultivated and we've built up into this point has just been very humbling, including the clientele too. I mean, there's a lot of people that I meet in this business that I'm very vulnerable with, and I tell them what we're trying to accomplish, and just being able to ask them for advice and them be able to kind of rattle off where they were at in their business before they got successful, and different things to do and to try, and certain risks that are willing to take, but also just being a little more vulnerable to you guys too. I'm definitely one of those people that I used to do YouTube a little bit back in the day when I was younger and didn't really have much going on, and I kind of always thought, I was like, I don't really want a camera in my face. I don't want a client comes in and I have somebody in the corner putting a camera on their face. I think that's a little awkward, and that wasn't the vibe that I really wanted to do for a long time. And it was actually when I got my team and we're kind of talking more and more about it, and seeing everyone that's had so much success with it, and also doing a lot of our business online. I feel like people want to see truly not even but who they're doing business with, and truly be able to understand kind of what they're trying to do. Do they trust them? That kind of thing. And I think it is essential in this business to kind of put yourself out there and get a little uncomfortable, stick a camera in your car and talk to it about some uncomfortable things or whatever. And that goes back on you guys also supporting and liking the videos and subscribing and showing that support and giving us referrals and all that stuff. So I mean, we're just now getting started. We're just now building this team, and to see the engagement is awesome, and see the support is definitely awesome. Sometimes the online community can be pretty brutal, but those core guys, they know who they are, and they're constantly rooting for us, and it's really cool to see. I mean, like I said, it's super humbling. So I appreciate you guys a lot for that, and it's gonna be really cool. I mean, we're about to pull up here now, and just to see the progression, and I mean, I see the vision very clearly. It's clear as day to us and to the team, and that's what we're super excited about. So. So we're here at the new location, right behind us at 1300. Super excited again about it, and we're really excited just for this location to be a cool hangout and have tons of really cool inventory. We're really planning on ramping up our inventory over the next couple months. So if you guys want to see a little bit more in depth of the inside of it, the rendering, stuff like that, we'll link a description down below. And like the video, subscribe. Again, super appreciative of all the support and all the engagement. We look at all of it. So thank you again, and thanks for watching the whole video.